Welcome to the Fire Away Podcast. That is the Fire Away Podcast. Oh yeah, here we go. Let's do it.
All right, everybody, I'd like to welcome One Beer Burton to the Fire Away Podcast.
Make that one bourbon.
One bourbon?
There you go.
I heard it doesn't take much. Maybe we can get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, we have Reggie Burton on the show today. How you doing, Reggie?
I'm doing great.
So real quick, we like to go over Fireline stuff to begin with. So how long have you been at Fireline now?
29 years.
29.
August. This past August, 29 years.
Okay. And what you're in charge of the kitchen hood systems?
The install side now.
Install side.
Yeah.
Now, were you always kitchen hood since you've worked here?
No, I mean, I started off in the shop, in the dry chemical shop,
Okay.
when I first started, and went from there to going out doing hood service. They started that because before all the service, the portable guys used to do hoods themselves, but then they decided to split the departments. Had one guy do hoods while the portable guys can focus on extinguishers, and so that, I was that guy that was doing the service on them.
Gotcha. So was Fireline your introduction to fire protection?
Yep.
What made you get into fire protection?
I was working at a printing company not that far from here, and they went out of business. And it was just like in the beginning of the summer. I wasn't even going to look for a job. I'm going to chill for the summer and pick it back up in September. Yep. But then unemployment, that didn't work out. So then I had to find a job. And I just saw the ad back then in the newspaper and came and applied, and the rest was history.
And that's when John was running.
Yeah, Mr. Waters was still, he had his office here, but even then Steve was still, pretty much running the operation. Okay. But Mr. Waters was here. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, did you grow up around this area?
No, nowhere near.
Nowhere near here.
West Baltimore.
West Baltimore. Born and raised West Baltimore?
Born and raised. Yeah. Don't live there now, but yeah. Born and raised in West Baltimore.
You still in Baltimore though?
In Baltimore County.
Baltimore County. Okay. So, you got that nickname, One Beer Burton, or as you said, One Bourbon Burton. That Fireline, right?
That's the first I ever heard of that. I don't even know where that came from.
You don't know what it means?
Maybe, like sometimes when we out and we hanging out and I get a few drinks in, sometimes the truth starts slipping out. I'm guessing
there's no more secrets, right?
Yeah, I'm guessing that's where that came from.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah. But that was just one incident that happened. Like sometimes that you do one thing one time and then it follows you from that point on. So I'm
just one time, huh?
That's all it was.
That's like when I see the cops doing a DUI checkpoint and the guys look like, I had one beer. And by the time the cop's done investigating, it's like 10 beers.
Okay, maybe 2 times.
See, here we go.
Maybe it happened twice.
All right, so growing up, you said you were born and raised West Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, dad?
My dad had passed on when my mom was pregnant with me. So I grew up in a single-family home.
Okay.
A single-parent home, rather. 2 brothers, 2 sisters. Yeah.
Pretty close to them?
Oh, yeah, still. Mm-hmm. I got a big family, real close.
Awesome. Any memories from your childhood that stand out? Things you like to do when you were growing up? See, I didn't grow up in a city, so I don't know.
I mean, I'm just a city dude, even still, Just, I don't know. I think that close-knit come from living in the city. You know what I mean? Like, we were kids, and everybody was out on the streets. Everybody played together, Nothing like today. I tell my daughter all the time that, she grew up in an environment that everybody stayed in the house. Christmas time when I was coming up, everybody was out in the street.
Playing.
Skates and bikes and all kinds of stuff like that. And, just that's how it was back then. But now it's totally different now.
Now, did you raise your daughter in the city also?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Park Heights.
Park Heights. Now, you only have one daughter?
Yeah, just one.
Okay. No other kids?
That I know about. It's too late to claim any of them now. The statute of limitation is over with.
So you think, right?
There will be no money coming from me.
So, do you ever go back and visit your old neighborhood or anything?
Well, my mom still lives in the city, so
your mom still lives. Okay.
Yeah, so
in the house you grew up in?
No,
okay.
No, but in the same neighborhood. Same neighborhood.
That's pretty cool. Then.
Yeah. So
still some of the same old neighbors and stuff.
most of the people that grew up with me, they left. And the same way, some of their parents are still there. So
Okay.
I still see them. And we all can, go back at different times.
Yeah. I know driving down here, of course, I'm from good old Lancaster County, right? So people are like, man, you drive through Baltimore? I'm like, yeah. They're like, the city? I'm like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Like, I think
It's crazy.
it gets a bad rap.
It's crazy.
Every city has its bad parts, right? But
Yeah. I mean, and it's even that. It's in good parts of the city.
Yeah.
Like even where my mom lived at. My mom she lived in a rough neighborhood. I mean, that particular block that she lives in, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you don't have to go far,
Yeah.
one block this way, one
Yeah.
block that way, where all the action is. So, but I mean, we've been in that neighborhood for so long, so even my family members and stuff like that. So
Yep.
you get used to it.
Now, growing up, were you a good kid? Did you get in a lot of trouble?
Innocent trouble,
Innocent.
just mischievous
Nothing
stuff.
too crazy.
No, nothing heavy. No, never went to jail or anything like that.
Now, you said you have what, 2 brothers?
Yeah.
Are you the oldest, youngest, middle?
I'm the youngest. I got 2 older brothers,
Mhm.
an older sister, and I got one younger sister.
Okay. So kind of a middle child.
Yeah, I mean, well, only because I got 2 brothers and 2 sisters,
Okay.
not age wise.
Yeah. Did you go to private school or did you go to city schools?
City schools.
City schools. Awesome. Now, what year did you graduate high school?
82.
82. So you were going through school in the 70s. Any issues?
In school?
Yeah, like because like back in that day, obviously there was still segregation going on.
Oh yeah, definitely that. So, like when I was in elementary school, and we had a decent elementary school,
Mhm.
and then they started segregation when I was in the 4th grade.
So before 4th grade, you were mixed in?
No, before 4th grade, I was in an all black school,
Okay.
and then when I got to the 4th grade, they integrated.
Okay.
So we had to go down South Baltimore to school down in South Baltimore, and then from kindergarten to 3rd grade, had to go up to the school that we went to.
Okay.
And that was an eye-opening experience as a kid.
Mhm. I can't even imagine.
I mean, we used to go down there, and the people down there would protest. They didn't want us down there. They didn't want to send their kids up into the black community, and it was just a big mess. The first year there, it was really bad. Like, we didn't have buses that, we had to walk. It was a good distance.
Mhm.
It was a couple of miles. We had to walk. And every day when the bell rang, you see a bunch of black kids just running up Pulaski Street, white kids behind them. And it was like that for the first year. But then after that,
Calm down a little bit.
and then everybody, it just became, it was more of a class issue rather than a racial issue.
Okay.
Because, then it got better as the time went on, and I think that's why, like a lot of times now, I was mixed in with, different people at a real young age.
Yep.
And that's why so now I can get along with anybody.
With anybody.
Yep.
And that's how the way it should be.
Yeah.
And for me, like I've never experienced anything like that. So for me, like, I think of like Remember the Titans. It's one of my favorite movies. And when they mixed the blacks and the whites in that, and you see, like, for instance, when they became friends, right? Obviously they hate each other at the beginning for no reason other than skin color. And then by the end of that football camp, they're like they're best friends, but then they go back to their community and it's like, you're not allowed to do that. And then school starts. So like when you said in 4th grade, that's when you guys started mixing in together.
Mm-hmm.
Did you become friends with white guys right away?
No, not right away.
Not right away.
No. I mean, it wasn't well. I mean, even with them, the school would try to make it, because they would seat you like that, you sit next to a white kid.
Okay.
But no, I mean, as soon as the bell rung, and you would go to your clique, and that's the way it was.
That was
the first year. That's the way. I mean, just think about this. Every day we left school, these same white
Running
kids
for your
was
life.
chasing us up until we got to Monroe Street.
Jeez.
I mean, the Pratt Street. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Hey, it was rough in the beginning. I mean,
Now, would you?
as a kid,
Yeah. Well, I can't imagine, dude. What about teachers? Could you feel tension with the teachers? Like they didn't want to be doing this. They didn't want anything part of with it.
No.
Was it black and white teachers?
Yeah, it was black and white teachers.
Did they seem to get along fine?
I mean, as a fourth grader, I didn't pick up on that.
Okay.
I didn't pick. I remember one time I had a black teacher, Miss Webb, and it was and by this time most of the stuff had settled and everybody was for the most part getting along. But she sent me to the store across the street to get her a soda, and I did not want to go. We run for our lives every day at 3:00, and you sending me out here at 12:00 in the afternoon. I just remember, and it just stuck in my head. But I went and got a soda, and it was all good.
No issues at all.
No.
Now, when you first started becoming friends with white people, when you would go back to your neighborhood, would they give you any crap or anything, or everybody was in it together?
We all did it.
Mm-hmm.
We all had to go.
Yep.
So even, the groups that, and even with that, once we became friends, it wasn't like my black friends would say, no, you can't be friends with Johnny. No, because he was friends with Johnny too. Yep. So it was all good. And even with that, it was the older kids in the neighborhood that was the problem. So
Gotcha.
It wasn't even we had problems in the classrooms in the beginning, but after that, you with these people every day. They with you every day. So you become friends,
yep.
Just the way it is. Racism is taught.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. Yep. And I don't know. Like I said, I grew up in Lancaster County. It's predominantly white body. But when I started working down here, I was like, man, this is a lot different, But I can't imagine being someone like you and having to go through that, and me, I can't say I know what it's like. I've never experienced it. Thank God I've never experienced it. And obviously it's still out there today, unfortunately, but a lot better than what it used to be.
Well, the difference was, we went as a group, they came up as a group. It was funny because even when I started working here, that was an experience too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I worked at a printing company.
Okay.
Not far from here.
Okay.
And it was blacks and whites, and it was multicultural or whatever. Mm-hmm. So then when I started working at Fireline, I got my interview and everything, and Steve Clark was the guy that took me around.
Okay.
And he took me around as I'm walking through the building. I'm looking around. Now, again, I just came from a warehouse that was mixed, and I'm walking through Fireline, and I'm looking around, and they introducing me to people, and as I'm walking around, I'm looking, and I'm like, ain't no brothers in here. What's going on here? And I really didn't think I was going to stay. I really didn't. I'm thinking, okay, I wasn't the first black person that worked at Fireline. It was a guy that, like Mark put out there, that's on the picture in the hallway. Uh-huh. That was not me. So I wasn't the first, but at that time I was the only black person that was working here. So, and I didn't think I was going to stay, but all the people that I worked with, they was especially close with. Everybody was cool. Everybody, treated me fairly or whatever. And it was, so it was all good. Then over the years, I became really, really good friends with a lot of people.
Yeah.
Really close personal friends here.
I still remember when I first started, not nearly as big as we were now. And obviously, John Pletcher's the one that got me started Fireline. And that guy liked to talk, so he knew everybody. Mm-hmm. So I felt like that benefited me because I got to know everybody from every department. And I remember you were like one of the first people I met when I started working here. And obviously we've grown closer as the years went on. But definitely someone I look up to at Fireline, enjoy being around. And Fireline as a whole, very welcoming company. It's a big family. It's what it is, I know people ask me all the time, like, man, you drive 2 hours to work. I don't hate my job, it's a great place to work. So
yeah, it was some years ago, I got approached by a guy who left Fireline with the BFP, and he came back to me and said that he had been talking to Pam Moyer about me and whatever. And I'm like, nah,
not even worth it.
I'm good. I can honestly say I never wake up in the morning, regretting and hating to come to work.
100%.
Some things have happened that I didn't particularly care for or whatever, but as a whole, I love this place.
It doesn't matter where you work, you're going to have your issues. And you have your bad days. I can't think anywhere else to be.
Yeah, and just like you talk about that, when I come to work and I come in the office, I go get my coffee. I used to do this all the time. Go around, make my rounds and talk to people because I'm getting my mind,
Yep.
right for the day. You know what I mean? Because at that point, a whole bunch of stuff can just go down. But if I'm already dealing with crap from home or whatever, and I come in with that attitude, so I go around, I talk to people, I laugh and joke, and I get my mind right, and then the day starts.
And and you talking about that kind of goes back to like the customer service committee, and when we built this program and we started talking about internal customer service, and I know Mark and I have talked about this numerous times. Like when we were building this program, and Anna brought up like we're each other's customers internally, and you never think about it that way. But then you think about things, and like the video we show at the end of the training and the Chick-fil-A, everyone's fighting a battle you know nothing about, right? And like you just said, you might have stuff going on at home. You might have gotten a fight with your old lady, but you come to work and you try to clear your mind of all that, and it's a fresh start here, right? Yep. You don't want your day bringing down someone else's day.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about.
Yep, and I do that. I mean, I'm a social person anyway, so I like to talk to people, I like to laugh.
Yep.
And, it's a bunch of stuff in this world today that you can cry and be upset about, but, I try not to do any of that.
Oh, I agree 100%. I always said I don't like being depressed or anything like that. So, Mark and I discussed yesterday that there's no point in dwelling over something you can't change. So you might as well be happy and get on with it, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure there's people at Fireline that hear me sometimes in that office and I'm laughing. And when I say I get started, you probably can hear me all over the office. Reggie all the way on the other side. Man, that's Reggie laughing.
So we got up to about fourth grade. Obviously, you went to city school the whole way through high school. Graduated.
Mm-hmm.
Middle school, anything crazy happen? Pretty normal.
No, pretty normal.
Did you start sports in middle school?
No, I didn't start sports, which was running track until I got to high school.
High school. So ninth grade?
No, well back then, see, that's older D. It wasn't even middle school back then. It was junior high. Right. So when I got to senior high, it was just 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Okay, so you started track and field in 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
What got you into track and field?
I went out for the long jump. I wanted one of those, the jackets. So,
like a varsity jacket.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you joined the sport.
That's what made me do it. And then I went out for track and I said I could do the long jump, and I figured that's the easiest event to do. And then we all had to run, a 400. And then when we ran the 400, and I did really good, and that's what stuck.
So football or baseball or anything like that?
I was a scrawny kid. I wasn't playing. Nobody wasn't hitting me. And I just wasn't good enough at basketball. That's my favorite sport.
Now, do you like NBA basketball?
NBA, college, I like it all.
So I watch NBA basketball like when the playoffs start. I can't get into it. Now, college basketball, I love watching college basketball. That's a great sport.
I watch them both. NBA has started already, and I'm a Wizards fan. I'm in it deep.
So if I had to claim to be a fan, it would be Wizards because Maryland doesn't have a team.
Yeah, that's the way. And and it's funny because I like the Wizards. I hate the Washington, the Commanders.
Yep.
I don't watch hockey, so I don't support them. And even with the Terps is in Maryland, but it's closer to D.C. than it is to Baltimore. Yep. But I am a Terps fan.
Yes, I agree. I like Terps lacrosse, especially.
Don't.
Now, like growing up, my grandmother was a big Penn State fan, so I didn't mind. Like I find I can be a Penn State fan, and then
and a Joe Paul.
I was, yep. But then growing up, I always loved Maryland. I was always an Orioles fan, always a Ravens fan, and I was like, man, I kind of like the Maryland Terps too. It's from Maryland. It's what I like, which was crazy because I'm a guy up in
Pennsylvania,
Central PA.
Wow.
But good time. But like I said, I've always loved Maryland for some reason. But definitely their sports team. So, and huge Caps fan since Baltimore also does not have a hockey team. But so track and field. You said you went out for the long jump.
Mm-hmm. Never did it.
Never did the long jump.
No. Never got the opportunity to do it. Once I ran the 400, that was it.
The 400.
Mm-hmm.
And then you also, I know we were talking earlier, you did relays.
Yeah, I ran the first leg of the 4x400.
Okay. And then did you run the open 4 also?
Mm-hmm.
800?
No.
That's too long.
That's
for
too
you.
much. Too much. And I mean, if you know anything about track, the 400 is the most difficult race to run. It's not quite a sprint, and it's not distance.
Yep.
You know. So yeah.
And that's when I found out you ran track. You piqued my interest because I also ran track in school. And that's what I always said about the 800. So I ran the 4x4, and 4x8, and the 800. And the 800 I felt was a difficult race too because you got 2 laps obviously, and you can't do an all-out sprint. You're going to die quick. But you're right, the 400 too. You got to pace yourself.
Yeah.
And save that. You got to get out at the beginning and then save that last.
I remember once we was running against Southwestern High School, and at that point, I was pretty good, and most people in the other schools they knew who I was when I came. And this guy name was Pearlie was his name, and he came up and he just looked at me and said, "We're gonna run you today." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, okay." So when the race started, now I always, when I was myself, because I was a tall guy, I had long strides, and then the last 200, I would really turn it on, then I would sprint the last 200. Well, when the race started, this guy just shot out like a jackrabbit. And I wasn't used to that because I'm always been used to leading pretty much the whole race. And this guy just took off, and then he just threw me out of my game, and I tried to keep up with him. I won, but it was a struggle to get across to. Oh yeah, and then my coach, he just got all on my case. You run your race. You don't run that race. And then we had to run again during the relay.
Yep.
Because he ran the first leg and I ran the first leg, and it was a totally different race then.
That's crazy. And then your track coach had you go out for cross country one year.
Oh yeah, that was funny. I told you that from Carver to Drew Hill Park was probably a 45-minute hike, maybe 45-minute hike. And
is that a 45-minute jog?
Yeah, I mean, because we wasn't walk. We had to jog. So I'm thinking, the coach, he drove to Drew Hill Park. So I'm thinking, okay, I can do this. We ran to the park, which was a good run. I mean, I ran the 400. I didn't run distance. So once we got there, and now we getting together and everything, and then they say, okay, now we're going to run, and we ran all up hills and down hills. And I'm thinking the practice was running from the school to the park and back to the school. So we went in. I mean, I was done. And like I said, gym was my last period class. And so when the bell rung, I was gone. That was it for me.
So you never ran a cross country meet. You went to one practice and you said
one practice. That was it. and my coach, cross country coach, was my biology teacher.
Okay.
So I had to go to his class, and that wasn't good.
He didn't try to talk you.
Oh, every day.
Talk you into staying.
Coming back. Yeah. No, that was it.
Too much running for me.
That was it.
So, did you get a scholarship or anything to go to college to run?
No, I didn't even run. I ran 10th grade, 11th grade. Didn't even run my senior year.
You didn't want to, or
no? I didn't want to practice. I wanted, at that point, I was, I didn't have time for that. I was done with that. I already had my starter, my jack. I was good. I was good then.
So you said close-knit family, growing up and everything. I know we were talking a little bit earlier that we could go into this. Nephew that you're close with.
Oh, yeah.
And then not around anymore?
No, he's incarcerated. He's in, it's not Hagerstown. It's past Hagerstown. I can't think of the area, but it's past. It's a good ways out.
Okay.
Western Maryland. He
This was years ago?
He's been incarcerated probably 20 years.
Okay. And you said you were really close with him.
Mm-hmm.
So what did he get incarcerated for?
Murder.
Murder. How did you find out about it?
About the murder?
Yeah.
I mean, it was.
I'm sure it was on the news and everything.
I don't know if it was on the news or not. I mean, just from the neighborhood. I mean, when he was arrested and we knew what the charges and everything was, and then talking to him, I mean, he was open about what happened. I mean, it was him and his buddies, and there was another group of guys, and they didn't like each other, and it was funny because, well, not funny, but they was riding behind the car, and apparently they were shooting back and forth to each other.
Okay.
and the guys that was in front of them was shooting back, and they wound up getting shot, and one of the guys that was in the car passed away.
Okay. So was he the only one who got charged, or the whole group got charged?
No, the whole group.
The whole group.
There was still 3 of them. And it was 2 guys in the other car and 1 guy died. And then it went, it was a first degree murder charge, but the lawyer was trying to get it because it was evidence of
self-defense.
They tried to make it self. The problem was they were shooting back and forth to each other, and it was evidence on their car that they took bullet.
Gotcha.
The problem was they could have turned away.
Mm-hmm.
They was following that car, so if they went back and forth, they could have just turned off, and
they were caught up in the heat of the moment.
Yeah, my nephew was a dangerous dude.
Now, were you shocked by it when it came out?
No, me and my nephew was really close. That was the one he got caught. That was the situation that he actually got caught. There was situations that happened.
Yeah. Still talk to him today?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Go visit or?
Not often. That's a good drive. Yeah. So we just talked probably 2 weeks ago that they have emails and that's all set up, so we can email back and forth.
Constant communication.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat then. And then, all things considered, good spirits and everything.
Him?
Yeah.
Oh, he's living the lifestyle of an inmate.
Yeah.
He's never down. He's been in there long enough. He still have hope and that he'll be in his. Yeah. The thing of it is that I don't even know what he would do at this point in time.
Yeah.
If he came home.
Eligible for parole or no? Not yet.
No. The thing of it is he still has a lawyer. They're still working. The appeals are still going on.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just a lawyer getting money or what the situation is.
Yep. All right. Switching tracks a little bit. You said you have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know just from working here, you're not married.
Not yet.
Been a bachelor for a long time.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
But you're engaged now.
Yes. 2 years now.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
What took so long?
Is this a G rated or is this R rated or G rated?
That's all we have Kelly here. Hopefully not.
He can wasn't related. How about that?
So where'd you meet your fiance?
Actually, I go to this place on Fridays. I hang out there, and then it's another place I happened to go to. We was watching one of the Ravens games, and she came in with her girlfriend, and I was with my friends, and the Ravens had won, and I had been drinking, so I went over there and talked to her. And when I went to talk to her, she knew my name, which threw me. I'm like, okay,
have we met before?
Where you know me from? And she said, yeah, I remember you from the other place. You bought me a drink and whatever. And so we exchanged numbers then, and she never called. I'm like, okay, she knew my name. We exchanged numbers, but she never called. And then I wound up seeing her again, and then she was getting on me. She said I gave her the wrong. And I had been drinking, so maybe one of it was. I made one of the numbers may have been wrong. But we from that point on, and then she's a good one. She calmed me down. Had to get rid of all the cousins.
And I know she takes you to your favorite place, the beach. Loves going.
Oh God. Oh God. I just went to. First of all, most people that know me know I don't even like traveling. Mm-hmm. My idea of a good time is going in my backyard with a cigar and a bourbon and just enjoying, myself there.
Yep.
But yeah, we went to Ocean City this year. That used to be the thing when I was here at Fireline. Everybody else that worked here had been to Ocean City. So the joke was, Reggie never been to Ocean City. And at that time, I had never been. The first time I ever been to Ocean City was because of work. I had to go down there for work. So, but this year was the first time I actually went down there for
a vacation.
Yeah. And it was just a weekend thing. And
you loved it?
No. I hated it. We kind of like got into it a little bit because she had all these plans on going to the beach and all that. I'm like, look, I don't want to go to the beach. I don't. you go down there, and it was her and I, and then a friend of mine and his girlfriend.
Okay.
And so I wanted to just, because we had a beachfront balcony and everything. I was good.
Still on the balcony.
Yeah, I was good with that. She wanted to go to the beach, and so we went back and forth with that. She woke me up. I don't know. It probably was like 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, "What are you doing?" She said, "Get up. Let's go outside and watch this. Look at the sunrise." I'm like, "You done lost your mind." You done lost your. I don't want to see no damn sunrise. I want to sleep. So I didn't get up. So, but then she was in her feelings. Then at that point, I had to make amends and say, "Okay, let's go walk the beach." So we go down to the beach, and it was kind of cool because it was Jeep. I think it was Jeep.
Car show week.
So they had all these Jeeps that came and they all drove down the beach and everything. So we go out on the beach and everything. I'm walking, and I'm trying to think of what type of shoes I don't know if I had on. I don't know what I had on. But anyway, it wasn't working. So I took them off. And now I'm walking in the sand and just, dude, I'm telling you, it was horrible. Sand all in between my toes and all. And I was like, no, we're not doing this no more. This is a wrap. There's no more beach. Outside of that, I mean, it was good.
A good time.
Yeah.
So the honeymoon is not going to be any beaches.
And not at all.
When is the big day?
Well, we haven't set a date yet. I keep saying, let's enjoy this engagement.
How long have you been engaged now?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah. So
does she push on you at all? Try to set that date?
Every now and again, she'll say, we need to start looking at venues, and I just look and I say, oh yeah, okay, yeah. All right.
Just let it pass over.
Whatever you want to do. Yeah.
Jeez.
It's going to happen though, but.
Do you know where you want the honeymoon to be?
No, it doesn't matter to me.
As long as it's not a beach.
No. No. And I mean, I can go back to Ocean City. I can go down there for a week and just don't go to the beach. just give me a balcony on the beach where I can look, Nah, the beach ain't for me.
No, it's not for everybody. It's one of my favorite places, but you're right. It's not for everybody.
No. It's definitely not for me.
All right, Reg. Well, I'd like to thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it. Like Mark said, this was when we started this podcast. I said, I can't wait. We got to get Reggie on here. So one way we like to wrap up every show is, what would Reggie today tell Reggie day one of Fireline?
Don't be concerned. Don't be concerned that all these white folks in here and you're just the only black person in here, because you're going to become really good friends with a lot of these people in here. And I think some of these people in here I'm lifelong friends with. So, I mean, I'm Gray turns 60, so I don't know how many more years I have at Fireline, but I know I got friends here that I met that are lifelong friends.
No, I agree. I'm happy to be able to call you one of my friends. So
yeah, likewise.
Thanks again, Reggie. I really appreciate your time, man.
All right. When do I get paid?
Mark will take care of that.
Okay. All right. All right, guys. I appreciate you.